What you are looking at is called a stock market report. This is usually found on the back of a newspaper with all these lists of different numbers for stocks. Even if you do not really look at a newspaper and you don't have a chance to look at these numbers, by being able to understand how they work on a newspaper, you'll be able to understand how to read stock quotes online. So this is beneficial, even though that newspapers may not be used as much as they used to. This will give you a basic start on how to read it online as well. So what you have in front of you is a stock market report. And in this one, it has information about a stock. As we can see here are the names of the stocks right here. Obviously it's in alphabetical order, so these are in the R's right now. So if we focus on Rockwell, let's focus on that one for this example. There's something called the 52W high and low. What this is indicating is that sometime throughout the last 52 weeks, the highest the stock of Rockwell ever sold was $51.25. And then on the lowest end, $27.69 was the lowest it ever sold for in the past year. So as an investor, this is interesting to look at to see where the numbers are at. The next one is just the name of the stock. And then this next one is called a ticker symbol or a stock symbol. So if you're ever watching the news and it has that news strip underneath and it has a bunch of letters in it with the green arrows and they're red and they're green, that's referring to stock symbols. ROK is considered to be Rockwell. Then we have our next one called a dividend. Now a dividend is the amount of earnings that are made on top of your shares. So let's say that you buy a stock for $10 and then over the past year it increases by $1.02. So what that means is that now your stock would be worth $11.02. So the dividend refers to any money that was made on the stock. And this money is given in check form usually to its owners of the stock. So if you owned one stock in Rockwell and it was $10, and then at the end of the year it was now worth $11.02, they would send you a check for $1.02. The next part of the yield is 2.1. Now this is giving the same information as the dividend, but it's just in percent form. That's all it is. So what it's saying, 2.1% of the stock of Rockwell, for one stock of Rockwell, is a dividend. So of that $10, well I guess $11.02, 2.1% of that is a dividend which would go to an investor. The next one we have is a PE ratio. The PE ratio is price to earnings ratio. And the way they find this is by dividing out the stock's current price divided by the company's earnings per share, or EPS. So this number is actually a very large indicator for investors. They usually look at the PE number. Now, the easiest way to explain that is basically explaining for every dollar that you spend into this company, it's going to take $14.50 to earn that additional dollar. So the higher the PE ratio, the more money you're going to have to dole out to put out there to make any return. So if I was doing, and let's say these four companies right here that have a PE ratio, if they were all the same industry, you would look at that and you would say, okay, this one has 26.5, 20.9. I would invest in Rockwell because it's a 14.5 PE ratio, which means that for every dollar that I invest into Rockwell, or for every dollar of earnings that I could get from Rockwell, it would take $14.50 to make on that. We will talk more about this PE ratio in class. Moving on. Now we have the volume. This number indicates how many shares were traded that day. So for Rockwell, throughout this entire day, 6,412 shares were traded that day. That's all that indicates how much movement is taking place. Sometimes, if the number is high, that might indicate that the company is doing extremely well, or maybe the numbers are dropping extremely fast. So it just indicates how much of the shares or the stocks were traded that day. Then we have a high and low. And what this indicates is the highest price the stock was paid for on that day. So for Rockwell on this day, it was $47.99. The lowest it went down to was $47. Then we have the close. Close means this is the price that this Rockwell stock was purchased at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, this stock was worth $47.54. So it just gives an indication of how much one stock is worth at the close of the day. And then the last one is net change. This just demonstrates how much movement was taking place throughout the day. So how much the stock moved up or down during the day. So throughout the day, it moved up and down 0.24%. That's all that means. So very little. So from 47.99 to 47 cents, that's a movement of 0.24 when it comes to this. I know that's a lot of information packed in really quickly here for the stock market report, but that's why I'm creating a video so you don't miss anything in class and you can go back and listen to see each part that you may have. If you have more questions about part of the stock market report, please let me know.